Just the dust, just the sand, just the motion of your hand. Travel like land.
Seven 3, 7-2 is maybe a 7-1 on the cards. That would be certainly surprising for a night where we thought it was going to be close affair after close affair. Welcome back from the break. Elevate 7-2 over Ferox. Akami 7-3 over Noble. We now head into LFO versus Rhythm. Two teams that unfortunately, guys, are down the very bottom of the standings. Both 0-4. Both looking for their first map win. And whoever can find that map win has a lifeline in terms of making playoffs. The loser of this match, they're done. They are going to head down to relegations.
And I'm glad you framed it in that way. Sometimes when you look at a match like this, you say last, second last, this is going to be a snore fest, this doesn't mean anything. But I think it's going to be the complete opposite. I think we're going to find that this is probably going to produce some of the most exciting siege of the night. It's going to be super scrappy, super exciting.
Don't say it.
I wasn't going to say super close. I wasn't actually going to say that. And now I forgot what I was going to say because I lost my train of thought. Hopefully I get my prediction right. That's all I'm here for, remember? So
that's all you're here for. I'm here for the teams. I'm here for the players. Let's go and have a look at the LFO lineup for this matchup. I think it's fair to say they've got one of the most enigmatic coaches, Enigma.
Yeah. Gee, you've used that before, Xenox. You can't use it again.
Oh, I didn't realize. Has it not been enough time? Oh, well,
No.
It is what it is. Obviously, for LFO, you know, Nate's come into the lineup. Mims is still Mims. But for whatever reason, they just haven't been able to get a win on the board. To be fair, they've had the hardest first 4 games out of all of the teams. They've now probably got the easiest 3 games out of all of the teams. Not that it's going to be easy, but easier.
Yeah, and I'm going to play bad cop a little bit here. I don't think that you can necessarily make the excuse that you've had this record in this season because you've just faced more difficult, in quotation mark, teams. I would have liked to see them maybe pick up at least one map here or there. We saw them do it last season against some of these teams. So maybe the best of one just isn't quite working out for them. But nonetheless, their trajectory has gone from skyrocketing up to almost plummeting down and crashing back to earth, right? So this is the turnaround point for them. If they don't win tonight, then you've got to draw a line through them, surely, right? Like, it's over.
Yeah, well, it definitely will be. If they lose this, it's over. Let's look at their opponents, Rhythm, who, well, you know, you talk about skyrocketing up. It feels like this season that they themselves have been skyrocketing up from last to second. Technically, it's up. I don't know if it's, you know, too far that they would have liked, but the main takeaway this season for them has been their performance in game, not so much the standings, as I kind of keep reiterating that for them. You know, we saw Stick coming in and filling last week for Rhythm, doing a decent job. I would imagine Bouncin should be back this week, but ultimately this team, this roster, certainly looking better than Kanga in Six Masters.
100%. If there's any game that Rhythm are going to win, it's this one. If Bouncing's back in the team, I think last week he was having his wisdom teeth taken out or something, so hopefully he's recovered from that. He can jump back in and fill the shoes of Stick, who was a little bit maybe out of his depth, played well, again, especially considering the pressure that was on him, but having Bouncing back in will hopefully provide a little bit more stability to this team. Whether it'll be enough, we don't know. LFO historically have performed a lot better than Rhythm and have performed well against the good teams, but that hasn't continued this season, so they're not the same squad.
He's bounced back into the roster, which is good news for Rhythm. I had to.
I'm not even laughing at that one. That was really bad.
Just a shake of the head. Map decisions here. Tonight, it feels like they've been super impactful. I mean, map decisions always impactful, right? For every matchup, but you know, we had the Oregon decision falling into the hands of Akami. What feels like the Clubhouse decision falling into the hands of Elevate. I mean, is it going to happen again here? Is Rhythm going to get sort of given a map by LFO that Rhythm won?
It's always really difficult to decide what map these teams are going to target because we don't have a good record for either of these teams. There's a lot of red in these results columns that I'm looking at, but if you want to look purely at just the maps that they've played, and I guess
line.
at least their competitiveness on them, Rhythm can probably rule out Oregon. LFO have played it a couple of times and haven't looked overly terrible. Coastline, I would not be surprised if LFO insta-ban that in return, or at least ban it eventually.
Yeah,
because
it should be
Rhythm have
banned
played
out,
it well. Yeah, so if Coastline or Oregon are one of the maps that makes it through tonight, I'd be very, very surprised. The other 5, I don't know, draw one out of the hat because I really have no idea.
I felt like we haven't gone to Cafe for a little while. Wouldn't be totally astray if we did head over to Cafe, but in terms of Rhythm, it's been 2 Clubhouse and 2 Coastline this season. Do we see either one of those? Cafe is going to be with the first ban from LFO. Do LFO end up banning Coastline? No, they don't. In fact, it was Rhythm who ended up banning Coastline, and we do head to Clubhouse. So I was kind of making the point there that we've seen out of the 4 matches of Rhythm this season, 2 Clubhouse, 2 Coastline, and we do head to Clubhouse. Of course, LFO did have the decision between Oregon and Clubhouse. I think you made the point earlier that you didn't think that they would want to go to Oregon.
Based on face value, I'm looking at this, and LFO have won the ban phase. They left it up to Oregon and Clubhouse, 2 maps that LFO are pretty good at historically, and both in recent form, at least, you know, considering that they haven't won a map yet. But I think the lesser of the 2 evils was probably Clubhouse. But you look at Clubhouse, right, and Rhythm have played it twice and lost 7-3 or 3-7 to Ferox, 3-7 to Okami. So I don't understand necessarily the thought process of Rhythm heading there, especially considering that LFO haven't played it at all this season. They have no VODs to go off. They don't know what LFO has been working on, and I'm sure they've been working really, really hard. So
the ban of Coastline, though, do they know something about LFO and Coastline that we don't? Is Coastline just like their secret map that they only play against Wildcard? Like, I'm not sure exactly why Rhythm banned out Coastline. I think that might be something I might want to ask at the end of this. Who knows? Maybe they might come out as winners and I won't even bother. Predictions for this, though. Of course, it's going to be surely 50-50. Last time out was the solo Guz. Who's solo this time?
Oh,
no
boys.
way! It's happened again!
Let's go. I am raking in the points tonight. I'm telling you, Rhythm. Look, I mean, I was pretty confident actually from Rhythm heading
What
into
is
this
everyone
one.
doing? I thought I was the only one throwing tonight with these kind of not off-meta picks, but just for those who've maybe only just joined in, our first matchup, Akami Noble, Ducky was the only one who chose Akami. He was successful. In our last matchup, Ferox Elevate, this man here, Guz, was the only one to choose Elevate. He was successful, and now he once again is the only one to choose Rhythm. And I, on this point, may as well let's just wrap it up. He's won. Rhythm's gonna win.
Heading into this one, I thought it was going to be close, and I just sort of flipped a coin almost and went Rhythm. After this map veto, I am very scared for Rhythm. I think that LFO have honestly played them like a fiddle in this map phase.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
To be fair, I mean, again, the last 2 maps remaining, you've got Oregon and you've got Clubhouse. LFO good on both maps, and Rhythm are bad on Clubhouse. So I don't know. Maybe Rhythm will pull something out here. I hope they do, for my sake.
Well, you did vote for them. And look, honestly, Rhythm have been very, very impressive this season. They got up against, though, an LFO team searching and hoping for a win. They're looking for an AUG, but this time they're looking for a win.
Ooh, LFW? Can we call them that? Is that allowed? Probably not.
I think
we probably can't.
For this game, yeah,
we'll call them that for this game. I mean, it's the same for both teams. It's the same for both teams, though. We call them both LFW, and just you guys can fill in the rest of the caps.
That is true. I think the snowball prediction, because you know where we'll know is the community vote once we see that when we get into the first round. Maverick going to be taken off the board early. I don't think we're going to see the multi band out this time. Maybe Thatcher? No, it's going to be the Capital.
Cap. Yep. Pretty confident in those picks there on the attack. Nothing standing out as too crazy for me. The defense might spice it up a little bit. Again, remembering that Echo is perma-banned or insta-banned, however you want to frame it at the moment in comp play. So Valk will be taken off the board. So that means that the info gathering for the defense is dwindled a little bit. You'll have to rely on the Maestro if you want to bring that to the table. Mirror to close things out. Again, just solidifies that opinion. So nothing standing out to me really in the ban phase. I mean, maybe the Valk. I mean, Digital flagged that in the interview that he was a little bit perplexed as to why Ferox banned that out against them. So a little bit of a question maybe there.
Yeah, but it could be more so the matchup, I guess, specifically entailed to thinking Elevate wanted it. I don't know. Hard to look too much into it. We're going to start down a basement, though. That's what we do know. Rhythm are going to be defending. On the attack, of course, LFO. I feel like the conditions of winning this map for LFO comes down to Mims. If Mims balls off, pops off,
Attackers need to locate
they probably
and
win
defuse
this.
bombs.
But if Mims can get shut down by Rhythm, man, I still think, despite the fact, yeah, look at that, 53% Rhythm.
go,
The
chat.
community
around
vote,
it.
community vote hasn't been, well, they actually technically were wrong, but 48% chose Akami, so that's close enough for what we thought was going to be a very one-sided noble affair. So it says a lot.
Located a bomb.
Certainly, at the very least, this is probably how we felt coming into it,
Attackers have
especially
discovered
prior
location
to
of a
the
bomb.
map veto, guys. 50-50 split.
10 seconds to go.
Yeah, I'm still scared for this map. If I see signs of weakness in the first couple of rounds here from Rhythm, then I'm probably going to call it pretty early that it's going to go in favor of LFO. As he did mention, that power player in Mims will be critical. He hasn't been as consistent this season as he was in stage 1 of Oceanic Nationals, when it was, of course, known as 6 Masters. So if he steps up, he's very, very dangerous to shut down. So it's important that he's kept on top of.
Visual roam though, I like this from Drex, just for Rhythm to not, obviously the SSG roam, but it's obviously something that is typically successful, but it also does take that risk and that reward potentially on the side for Rhythm.
Attackers recovered the bomb diffuser.
2 minutes 20 on the board. Diffuser inside of Dirt Tunnel, so this is pretty spicy. Angmo heading that entry. It looks like the Vigil of Drex is ready and waiting. 2 players, in fact, ready and waiting. So this is a very risky strategy from LFO. They managed to make it in towards side, but get shut down. That's one. Heals. Can he hit the retrade? He does. More trades come through. It's a 3-on-4, but it is in favor of the defense. The Diffuser was dropped by Novaics.
That's not bad, is it, really? You've got to be pretty happy with that one if you're Rhythm. Diffuser on the ground. 2 dead for 1. It's a great start. Leb's going to get droned out here by Mims. You'd think would fall back and away. Still a minute and a half remaining. That was a very early push. So a lot of time to try and rectify things for Mims, Sogs, Nate. Man advantage though for Rhythm, and well, probably soon to be time advantage as well by the end of it when it's all said and done. Mims is also extraordinarily low in terms of health. Now just beating around the bush in kitchen. Nate does find one onto boats, but immediately Leb is able to at least get one back and keep that advantage on the side of Rhythm. 2-3 now, rather than 3-4.
It is nice for LFO having Mims on the board, but so low on HP. A single bullet. Oh my goodness, he's almost already dead as it is. Oh! Mims shut down. They won't know that, of course. No points on the board, but that will confirm it. The final kill comes through from Bouncin, who is back on the roster this evening. That's Rhythm to take round number 1.
Yeah, good start. Obviously, you don't want to get too carried away with just the opening round. In saying that, right now, out of the matches that we've had tonight, the team that has won the opening round has gone on to win the entire thing. And, I mean, to be fair,
Oh, so are you calling it? Are you calling it already, Zach? You're not allowed to do that.
Whoa. I did not put words into my mouth. No, look, all I'm saying is it's a great start. And, you know, if you are the type that likes the dark arts where you fancy yourself, okay, early win on the board.
Attackers need to locate
I mean,
and
wasn't there the
defuse bombs
pattern
they
in the
can.
last game for wins and losses for
Yeah,
Elevated
well-
Ferox, and that actually worked, right?
To the witchcraft, yeah.
We don't have that win-loss sort of pattern for this matchup because, again, a lot of owls in that results column.
No, well, that
unfortunately,
technically is a
but-
pattern in itself as well, right? It's just,
Well, they can't both lose, so.
yeah, that's true.
And they
One
can't
will
draw.
continue the pattern and one will move away from it. But we move over to CCTV and Cash with his second round. Nothing too surprising really on the side of LFO. Pretty standard setup.
10 seconds
Having
to
that
go.
Thatcher available as well is obviously going to really help out with Kennel's wall. Raptor probably, I think, especially after the last matchup we saw with Ferox and Elevate, something we want to sort of keep our eye on and see how Rhythm's going to play it here too on the defense, where, you know, Vast just made it his little home. I mean, it was like the most fortified rafters setup we've seen.
Yeah, it was. I wouldn't be too surprised if we see some more teams adopt that later in the season. Of course, these teams aren't going to. One, because they haven't prepped for it, and two, they wouldn't have been watching the last match anyway. So you're going to see a little bit more of a traditional hold.
Bomb
Why
located by
using those
attackers.
magnets to fortify that location. That said, one of the walls is electrified. So a little bit of a callback to that vast setup in which it was double reinforced. So this one's a little bit more risky.
Well, the biggest difference, though, was that Vast was on the Kaid, so whereas Boris is not obviously playing that Rafters position, but Nevaix is. Have they actually opened up Kennel's Wall yet? No, they do have to still unelectrify it. I do like this, though, from LFO pushing in through from Jacuzzi, so you can now get at least pressure on through Con. Something that Ferox really liked, very one-dimensional was Ferox, and that really didn't allow them to get much on their attack. But even like this from Sogs on the subroof as well, something that we didn't see from Ferox.
One thing to critique in this attack so far is probably the time management and the lack of actual disruption done on site. Yes, it isn't too one-dimensional, but not a whole lot has been done with a minute 30 to go. I guess Kennel's Wall has finally been opened, but that Con Wall is the next objective, and it is electrified, probably by an Electro Claw. So this is going to be challenging for LFO, who do need to try and pass this hurdle, otherwise they'll be filtered through the door, and Lev is ready and waiting to just mow them down.
And you would think that Nevaix as well will make it very difficult for Angmo to push through that Kennel's Wall, considering that Garage is completely safe. Just watch that angle looking into Kennel's Wall. It is going to be that con push now for LFO. 45 seconds remaining. Time is certainly of the essence. Mims just watching into Cash. I can just see the feet.
I mean, there's only 30 seconds left, and I think Nate used his X-Kairos on the wall and it got electrified. I believe he pulled it off a second time. Not sure, though, if it's enough to actually be an entry point. So they might still be filtered through the door, which will be a very, very challenging attack. No, it actually is a crouch hold. So good result here for LFO, but only 15 seconds left now to capitalize as Bouncing gets the
Attackers
first.
drop the diffuser.
Amo's going to go down, though, so no diffuser in hand. Well, that's flawless.
Gee whiz.
Never mind the 20-second meta. It's the 3-second meta right now from Rhythm, because that was just a slaughterfest. And in the end, despite the fact the way they were kind of setting up throughout the entirety of that, it still was actually quite one-dimensional. Instead of it through Kennels, it was more through Con.
The early round, the mid round, pretty good. The time management, though, left a little bit to be desired, especially when they tried to get that con wall open. It was being denied really, really effectively there by Rhythm. And despite the Thatcher being on the board, the EMPs didn't quite have the desired effect that they would have liked for LFO on the attack. They wasted a bit of time. There was one failed set of X-Kairos that went off. Then they had to wait for the second to go off. And once that all happened, amongst the confusion, they would have looked at the time and gone, oh, we've got 15 seconds left. We've got to send it in the side. We haven't really got a whole lot of intel, but we've got to send it. And the second they went to go forward, Rhythm just said, good night, off with your head. There's nothing they could really do to respond. It was over in a heartbeat.
Gym Bedroom now for the third round. Great start for Rhythm, and definitely look the cleaner of the two teams right now. LFO, though, I mean, this is weird to say, but they still look better than Ferox's attacks, and I think it goes to kind of highlight just, I don't want to sort of dog on Ferox too much, but they really did have lackluster attacks. At least LFO had a couple of different look-ins, but regardless, I think as you really coined it perfectly, just time was their biggest issue. And that's something they're going to need to fix up here, and this is going to be an interesting site. Imagine Jacuzzi Wall's going to be the play early on here for LFO, but I'd like to see them push in through Con. Maybe even first floor, try and roam up from the stairs.
Attackers drop the diffuser.
Can't just do it. Just can't all just be one way though. Even opening up Kennel's Wall here is fine, but look at Bouncing and Leb's position.
Yeah, I think I'll agree with your statement that maybe their attacks are a little bit with Ferox. If they win this round, they need to win this round to actually establish some sort of control over this best of one. If they don't, then that means that Rhythm can just cycle back through their sides again, and this could blow out. So this is a very, very key round. And even maybe if LFA don't win it, they need to be at least looking competent, looking confident, and get it down to at least a close result in the end.
Yeah.
That last round was terrible, and the round before wasn't much better. So this is a point now where they really need to turn it around, switch on, and get themselves into this one.
More control here with Mims and Sogs on the subroof, so they can get a bit of sight into CCTV eventually, and obviously you can look into gym bedroom from that position, so it can open up a few more opportunities with Sogs and Mims just sort of loitering around that position. Something, and then they got 2 over at Jacuzzi. And Nate, I would imagine, will eventually try and open up Kennel's wall. But again, it's that time issue, isn't it? Like, it's hard to believe, but we're down to a minute and a half already. And what have LFO really accomplished here? They've only now with the Salmas opening up Jacuzzi.
I mean, Mims wasted 2 grenades, and I don't think it cleared much. Maybe he cleared one piece of utility that we missed, but he missed the castle barricade on the second occasion. And it still looked like there was maybe even a shield on the bed that he missed. So that is a waste. And of course, the fragging potential now taken away completely as well. A lot of drones off the board here as well for LFO. So many, in fact, 3, 4, 5, 6 drones taken out with a minute to go. I don't think they'll even be able to get the intel as to where these defenders are.
50 seconds remaining. Well, if they haven't got any intel now, they're going to be in a lot of trouble. Boats just sitting inside a con, expecting maybe a push in. Nate will find an opening frag, though. That should be on the east side. Leb just sitting down the stairs. Mims, though, has just walked in, and I don't think Leb was expecting it, and almost kind of reminiscent of the Ferox attack here on Gym Bedroom. It's literally identical. It's 5-1. They've just slowly walked in, and Rhythm have just capitulated. It's a flawless round, and I feel like I got deja vu from the last match right now.
Yeah, and it's difficult for me to say this without sounding biased, but to me that was a throw from Rhythm. As I said, so much utility was taken off the board in terms of drones. It would have been so difficult for LFO had Rhythm been able to just hold on for maybe 10-15 seconds longer for them to actually execute a clean push. That said, maybe the 4 drones remaining were in some godly positions that called out where these players were, but it did seem like Rhythm were just completely caught off guard on these crouch entries, which paid off. So I mean, it's not the worst round for Rhythm. LFO cannot rely on just solo crouch entering to find picks on site. That's not going to work for the next 3 rounds. So it's really important that they don't fall into this habit, or Rhythm are going to catch on and punish them.
Early days, though, of course. 2-1. And at least lifeline for LFO now. They're on the board. They've got their sort of feet planted firmly on the ground here on Clubhouse with a round win. Back down to Church Arsenal, which we're going to see another roam set up for Rhythm, which... I don't know, was it their execution in the first round, guys, or was it more just LFO falling by the wayside?
First round we're talking about?
Yeah.
Well, LFO tried something a little bit experimental, right? They tried to push through dirt. They had 2 players push in that location, and one of them with the diffuser. And without the rest of the team seemingly having much of an impact in the round, the call was made for those 2 to push in. They tried to trade it out, and it didn't pay off. So I think that was maybe a little bit of a pocket strat from LFO in that round. So don't expect nothing similar here in this one. But we might still see a little bit of pressure from that dirt location if they go for a more traditional take of, let's say, kitchen or even blue.
I think as well with that dirt position is you can make sure that you at least forcing someone to watch from Arsenal as well, especially when you've got such a roam heavy composition from Rhythm. I mean, Novax is the only one on site right now. Everyone else is of course scattered around. Bouncing and boats up on the 2nd floor, Drex on the 1st floor. And LFO obviously need to be careful of this in particular, because I think what this roam can really accomplish more than anything is that it just buys so much time that by the time LFO, say, get to like kitchen, it's going to be like 40-50 seconds left on the clock, for instance. Like, they're just not going to have much time. And I think that's the ultimate goal here for Rhythm, is try and capitalize on LFO's poor time management right now that we've seen in this series.
Minute pass, bouncing still top floor. Question really is, has he been cleared? That drone does give away his position, and now Bouncing needs to make the call. Does he try and hold? Does he try and rotate down? If he rotates down the main stairs, he'll probably get cut off. If he stays up, he might be able to find a pick. And I mean, talking about picks, Angmo taken off the board. That's one
Diffuser.
of only 2 hard breaches and Diffuser. It's pretty big.
And yeah, I mean, I'm a little surprised to see Bouncing rotate all the way back to site. Would have thought maybe would want to try and keep an eye on that diffuser.
I mean, I'm surprised he made it back to site. They knew he was there and probably expected him to go main stairs, but no one was there to cut him off.
Minute 10 seconds remaining. LFO have basically made no ground at all. They don't even have the diffuser in hand. I think sometimes just that one pick can... Oh, wow. Bye-bye, Nate.
GN. Minute to go now. Bouncing finds one back. So it's a 2-on-5. Mims Hills left with it all to do. The 2 SAS operators. But yeah, I think it's basically round over. Not a whole lot you can do now.
It's this perceived pressure, though. Like, no one is literally watching this diffuser at all. And yet they haven't even been able to go pick it up. There's no one here. 40 seconds left. I mean, I understand, obviously, you need to be cautious, and you would think that... Typically, you would probably think that the fuse is maybe being watched, making it difficult to pick up. But when there's only like 30 seconds left on the clock, is it that surprising they've fallen back to site? Not really. Obviously, in the 2 versus 5, there's not much you can really expect from Mims and Hills here. But again, Rhythm have just played this perfectly, and LFO's time management is going to let them down again. 10 seconds left.
It's going to take a throw, surely, for LFO to win this round, and they do trade it out in the end. A little bit messy, but the result expected. Round 4 goes the way of the defenders. LFO, yeah, wow. A lot went wrong in that round. For me, one, time management. Again, they're just taking so damn long to actually get anywhere near the site. 2, they found the rover, they droned the rover, and they didn't cut him off or pressure him. And Bouncing could just literally walk down the stairs. And he was probably, you know, a little bit nervous about that, going down the stairs. There's a lot of angles where you can be cut off from, but literally no one contested him. And then 3, you had your ace with the diffuser get picked off. That one, maybe a little bit more forgivable, was probably a bit more unfortunate, but nonetheless made that round very, very tough, because recovering that diffuser off the back of the other 2 mistakes was very, very challenging indeed. So that's 3-1 now to Rhythm. We need to see something new from LFO. Get maybe one more round on the board at least.
And defuse bombs.
Yeah, and this is sort of now where they can just cycle back through. They can get cash CCTV, make it 4-1. Okay, maybe LFO get Gym Bedroom again. Although from what we saw, I hate bringing it up constantly, but the similarities are just stark right now between the 2 matches, this one and the previous one. Because it was 4-1, and then the same thing happened. And then the second time we went Gym Bedroom, it made it 1-5. Ferox weren't able to get it again. Because really, the way they got it in the first case wasn't... It didn't really do much. It was just sort of a bit of a throw defensively from Elevate. And it was the same here from Rhythm, guys. So, I mean, I kind of feel like it's heading in the same direction. And that's bad news for LFO. Need to win this here and cash CCTV. At least get that second round. And at the very least, if you win this in particular, then you set yourselves up at least for a chance to tie the first half.
And I mean, I feel like I've probably been a little bit too negative towards LFO. I mean, talking about Rhythm, for example, the fact that they are commanding this match, the pacing, the positioning, is a testament to them. We've never seen the roster play like this for God knows how long. It's probably have to throw back to like Pro League Season 11 when they managed to take down Fnatic with like a totally different roster that way back when they actually sort of were demanding the other team to catch up to their pace and the way that they're playing. So the fact that they are dictating these terms is a really positive sign.
Yeah, I certainly agree with you. I mean, Rhythm's been the better team. It goes without saying. You know, there's always 2 ways to look at it. Do you just sit back and say, you know, LFO not playing at their best? Or right now, it kind of feels like I just think Rhythm's playing better. It's as simple as that. LFO have been a 0-4 for a reason. Doesn't feel nice saying that, but, you know, they're not... This is not as if it's like, say, a Kami Noble, where you could maybe make a case for Noble not having played at their, you know, peak. Fair enough. If you want to make those excuses, you can. But in this case, I just think Rhythm are taking their in-game form that they've produced in Oceanic Nationals and applying it against the team that's closer to their level, and they're seeing the results of that.
Minute 30 now left on the board again. Just feels like LFO haven't made a whole lot of progression towards site. That said, they have good comm control and they can try and convert that into opening up the wall. Summer charge on the shield. That's actually really nice utility usage. Forces Leb back down towards the stairs, but he might roam below and play off a C4. Not sure whether the attackers are pressuring that location. So in the last 30 seconds, they've cleared some utility. They've gotten the wall open. That's really nice for LFO, but with no presence below, it'd be very dangerous late round.
Opening frag though to Nate onto Novax. Tracks close. 55 seconds remaining. This has been better though from LFO, to be fair. They've been a bit quicker with their utility usage and opening up certain areas. They haven't cleared Leb though from rafters, and Drex is probably just going to find an easy frag at some point here. 40 seconds left. But they're in position now for that sort of 20-second push in at the last second. Where that can take place now. Angmo, though, does eliminate Boats. Bouncing going to come in through bedroom and just into them from behind. Diffuser goes down with him as well. Angmo's gone. Diffuser's down. 3-1. LFO have got the numbers here, but Diffuser went down the floor. They've only got 13 seconds left here. Drex needs to just stay alive. 2 versus 1. 1 is down as well, so it's Sogs in from behind. You're not going to lose this. Yes, you are. LFO lose the round after being up 3-1. Rhythm.
Oh, Drex. Man, what a clutch. That was insane. Oh, I went, oh no, when Bouncing came on screen because I knew what was going to happen. The flank watch just wasn't there from LFO. Drop that diffuser. That puts so much pressure on the last 3 players. What do we do? Do we try and find him? Do we frag him out? Do we try and get the diffuser? Oh, there's not much time. And they sort of all just ran around a bit like headless chickens. Drex was able to capitalize off the back of that. Super well played in the end. I thought the round was over then. I thought that would have gone the way of LFO, but that round hurts. I think that round is probably going to hurt the most out of all the ones we've seen so far. And now it's a mental game for LFO. Can they bounce back from this, make it a 2-4, and keep themselves in this matchup?
I mean, bloody hell, I'm not going to lie. I mean, I said when in the opening, coming back from the break, 7-3, 7-2, 7-1 maybe. Right now, it could very well shape up to be that way. LFO haven't really given me much to say, yeah, okay, just tweak a few things and they'll be right to go. I mean, even the round win that they did get was very reminiscent to the round win that Ferox got, which was just a bit of a capitulation by the defenders. Which, that's where you can say, guys, for instance, oh, if Rhythm just tweak up a bit here on Gym Bedroom, they should be fine to defend this a bit better. You can say that.
Attackers are moving out to locate
the one player that's had a big impact in these last 2 rounds is Bouncing, who's on screen now. And I can see some people maybe sitting back and watching these players and going, oh, Bouncing's just a ranked star. He's just playing like he did in ranked or does in ranked. And look, maybe that's the case. I mean, those players were pretty crazy for the most part that he got away with them. But it's the fact that he was able to get away with them. I still don't understand how he wasn't spotted out on that first, cut off on the first flank on the previous round, and then the round before. Flank watch wasn't there, so again, not taking anything away from Bouncing at the moment. This comes back to the point that Rhythm are setting the pace in this matchup. If Mims dies here, surely Rhythm can capitalize.
Could you imagine if Sogs also gets shot as well by Boats? I don't think Boats has the angle to get Sogs as well. Mims is brought back up. Oh, if he just hadn't been holding that, you'd think Boats probably wins it. Although it was a bit of a pre-fire. I think, yeah, it was a bit of a pre-fire from Sogs.
I like this from Rhythm. No Vex on the Bandit, actually tricking the wall. Yes, there's a Thatcher on the board, makes it a little bit more challenging, but he knows that. He places it down, runs away, and this is wasting more and more and more time. They do drone it out, so that's good for LFO. Gains some intel as to what's actually denying the wall and how aggressive No Vex is playing it. But in that time set, well, in that time frame, they haven't done anything, and he takes the charges off the wall. Oh, this is really frustrating to watch.
I don't think it matters though. Does it really matter? Because it's not old that
but he can't clear them, which is the main thing. Because then he can use them when he goes back to bathroom. He has so many in the pocket to use. He'll probably go back to bathroom, reinforce that wall, bandit it off, and then this pack's just going to mean nothing if they get the wall open.
I mean, well, they get at least one side of this open.
Depends if he has a reinforcement in the pocket. I don't know if the team does.
That's a good start though for Rhythm. Minute left on the clock, but now that Jacuzzi wall is opened, LFO can slowly make their way in. Of course, Mim's very low from that early engagement. Let's buy to Jim. Amo just trying to watch down that corridor. Oh, Nate's just been picked off by Lab. 3-5 now. And LFO just falling by the wayside here, one by one. Diffusers on the floor. Amo still up on Jacuzzi. Hills up on the roof. This is over. It's going to be 1-5. Unless maybe with 25 seconds, Amo can have a sexy play of the season moment. Hills is down. And you just think that surely not from here.
Like a miracle. Boats on the flank shuts it down. Wowee, 5-1 at the end of the half for Rhythm. That is very, very scary. Now, I'll backtrack a little bit on what I said there. Maybe reinforcing the bathroom was a little bit naive from me. It would have been very tough. But the fact is that still one of the walls was reinforced, and they still got caught in that little filter when they tried to vault in, and the rest of the team just not there to refrag, which is obviously a little bit disappointing. So,
well, you know what else is disappointing is LFO right now, because I put not just me but all the other snowball predictors besides yourself put a bit of faith in them to turn their season around, because that was sort of the expectation, because they had built up expectation not going into Six Masters. They obviously didn't have much expectations going into Six Masters, but by the end of Six Masters they did have expectations. And it almost feels like this season from LFO is what was maybe predicted from them in Six Masters.
Yeah, that is 100% what I was going to say. And now we have to sort of think about, why has this happened? What is going on for this to be allowed? And the one thing that I keep thinking about, and I'm pretty sure Nick has mentioned it in the interview, or it's been theory crafted by one of us, or Raven or Manic, is that heading into this season, all of the teams knew what they were coming up against, whereas last season LFO came out of nowhere basically and were able to sort of pick up these maps where they could, because teams maybe didn't have enough data on them or enough VODs or enough experience against them. But now that the whole season's gone past, it was a longer season than this one as well. A lot of material has been gathered, and it doesn't feel like LFO have taken that next big step into this season to counter any of that intel that has been gathered on them.
I'm reloading.
And also, you know, mentioned at the start of this, I thought Mims was going to be a factor. If LFO was to do well, Mims was going to do well, and Mims is like 1-1-5. Even when I guess your proverbial best player is struggling, it doesn't really help. They will switch to the defense, but I'm gonna be honest, it's hard to really try and sell this, to say that, oh yeah, just win a couple of rounds, they'll be fine. The way it's gone tonight, 7-3, 7-2, this could very well be the 7-1.
Well, it's a risky strat coming out here from LFO. They're dedicating to a heavy roam, which is a positive sign that they're still trying to play confidently. And I mean, maybe that's the play, but there is an opportunity here for Rhythm to just completely ignore this instead of hunting it down. That said, though, Leb is inside of bedroom and might be in an engagement with Sogs pretty soon. Both players just getting a feel for it. Sogs going out, forced to fall back. I'm not sure how much Rhythm will really dedicate to this. Maybe it's better off just trying to approach site and then cut these flankers off late round.
Yep. Take out a few drones and start to head back. What was that? Somehow, Hills wins that. I don't know how Bouncing doesn't kill Hills there.
Yeah, I looked at my spreadsheet for about 0.5 seconds and completely missed that. So there you go. That's the roam working out for LFO in this round. Tough one to come back now for Rhythm.
Yeah.
They're going to have to find these picks on site quickly, maybe trade it out and then find the rest as they make their way back towards site. But that's easier said than done.
Well, at the very least, though, at least 7-1 isn't going to be a possibility now. Still a long way back for LFO, but we have seen these sort of comebacks this season. 5-1, for instance. Nice little pick up from Nevax onto Hills, just slowly peeking around the corner there. But they're down to 2 remaining. Sogs makes it 1 remaining. Sogs has got a triple kill this round, in fact, but we've seen it. We have seen it before. And with LFO switching to the defense, there is still plenty of chances for them to come back. And of course, I think it really comes down to the longer that they can keep match point from eventuating, the better for LFO. I mean, I know that sounds very easy to say, but that match point pressure, if it does eventuate, say 6-2 or 6-3, feels very different to say 5-3.
Still a tricky situation that LFO do find themselves in. Just looking back at that last game to get a little bit of a feel for how Ferox fared on their defense, and not really giving me a whole lot to work off here, but
No.
I'm
one
still
round, I think.
skeptical. I'm still
Attackers
very
need to
skeptical of
locate and
LFO.
defuse
They won
the bomb.
basement, right? We're expecting teams to win basement on the defense. Up to these two sides, CCTV, bedroom. Even if LFO defends CCTV, we need to see them win bedroom. If they don't win the first 3 sites and keep that match point away, they're going to crumble, in my opinion.
Bandit again for Sogs as well. Seems to be the pick. But I agree. This is where we're going to see whether or not that's legs to this story. If LFO can come back, they've got to be winning these rounds. I mean, well, obviously they're going to be winning every round, right? Goes without saying. But technically, if they do win every defense round, they'll actually win the map. But
Yep,
they do need
that's
to.
some good math.
Yeah, thank you. They do need to be winning these though, and that's the thing. And they need to be winning these for as long as possible. Now, if they can get it back to say 5-5, and then you drop one like either CCTV or you drop bedroom, sure, that's fine. That's kind of expected. You're going to lose one of those at the very least, but as long as they win basement, as long as they win CCTV, they'll be fine.
Of course, one thing again to reiterate that these.
Oh, he
teams-
tried to. Has he got that successfully? He has.
Yes, that's really well played. What I was going to say is both of these teams are desperately seeking to win this map. If they don't, their season, we believe, will be done.
Oh, it definitely will be.
Circumstances. So this is a must-win for both of these teams. The pressure is on LFO at the moment to perform. They're expected to make the playoffs this season. Rhythm, maybe not as much. But that said, maybe having the lead, having the fear of choking can also lead to a little bit of pressure. So I think it's probably evenly distributed, or at least distributed to some regard to both of these teams.
I mean, certainly now, I'm going to be completely honest though. Now that we've seen a lot of games played out for Oceanic Nationals, I don't actually expect LFO to make playoffs anymore. I think the bottom 2 is probably fair play. That's the way it's sort of. It's not as if there's like, say, 2 teams that are just trying to avoid the bottom 2. As Nate finds a kill onto boats, bounce and just push it around through stockroom. Rhythm's just that team that I think we can both agree are in that rebuilding process where it's kind of expected for them to fall into the relegations, and that's the way it's going to be. Even if they do win this, I still don't have them coming out of the bottom 2, but it's been a hell of a performance, and it's just a team that is getting better and better each game and each match and each week. Rex gets one back, 4 versus 3. Minute on the clock here for the CCTV
A bomb has been located.
cash defense from LFO, and it's going to be a garage push from Rhythm.
Risky. Novax with the diffuser in hand. We'll probably need to find a pick or 2. That player to the window. No, doesn't find the pick. There we go. 4v2 now. So it's Drexton Leb left to collect
That's
it with only
probably the
35
round.
seconds left. Yeah, this is probably the round, but again, maybe not too unexpected. It's really bedroom for me that is the big tester.
Yeah, I agree. I agree full well. Still, though, at the very least for LFO, they don't go down 7-2 the way that Ferox did on Clubhouse. It's now 3-5. There's certainly signs of life in this matchup. We could still, by the end of it, have that close affair like we thought it was going to be. It just started a little bit more one-sided than we thought it would. I anticipated that back and forth nature between these two. Instead, we had a great start from Rhythm. And just now for LFO, 2 in a row. Over to Gym Bedroom, and this is the big one because I think, and you kind of said it actually in the first half, you win the first 3, you can just cycle back, right? So then you're going back to sites you've already won, sites you've already had success on. And this is going to be the tester now, because we've actually seen, not just in this matchup, but even the one prior, Jim Bedroom is the one that
Attackers
typically
need to
attackers win.
locate and defuse bombs.
Yeah, I feel like in this matchup, it really could be that straw that breaks the camel's back sort of scenario where if they do lose this round, being LFO, oh, very, very difficult to come back from that, because then they do have, I guess, a little bit of solace in the other two sites. That will then lead them to a 4-6 scoreline, but then they will be forced to win Bedroom to keep themselves alive. If they don't win this site, that's the scenario that they will have to eventually win it, at least at some stage this evening. So
Do we
big
change
round.
the approach
10 seconds
if
remaining.
LFO win this, make it 4-5? How much pressure then falls on the Rhythm? Because then at that point, it's sort of like, uh-oh, we got to go basement.
Yeah, tricky question. I think
Attackers are
probably what I
moving out
said
to
earlier,
locate
there's
a
probably a
bomb
little bit
and
more
defuse
pressure
it.
on LFO to perform, considering their last season in Six Masters compared to the Rhythm, who, let's be honest, we're probably just making up the numbers a little bit. But they are in good form, so maybe there's a pressure on them to try and sustain that and grow it a little further as well. Either way, there's pressure on both teams, right? I don't think either of these teams are playing stress-free at the moment.
Of course, for Rhythm, they played Noble and Pittsburgh Knights as their last two opponents. They would have to win both of those to make playoffs. So kind of less riding on it for them. Whereas LFO play Elevate, the newly improved Elevate, I guess, and then Ferox, which is the newly disappointing Ferox. So really, if LFO do win this, they've certainly got more of a hope of making playoffs than, say, Rhythm do if Rhythm win this. LFO have got also the 5v4 advantage with Bouncing eliminated. 2 minutes, a lot of time to rectify things for Rhythm here, but Mims is well precedent on just holding this top right position.
Yeah, he has a couple of magnets, my magnets, to support himself in holding this position. I like this. It's quite aggressive from LFO. It's either going to pay off or it's going to really not bode well for him or bode well for him. He'll be taken out quite easily if that utility is sunk into. There we go. Shield taken down now by that grenade. He's forced back in towards Cash. It's going to be difficult to hold on to this. Angmo there is supporting him. Question is, when are Rhythm going to start moving? Only a minute 30 left.
And they're all coming in from one side. You can kind of see it here as well. Candles Garage. They needed to get Mims, and now that they've got Mims, they can start to push in a little bit more effectively. Someone eventually sort of subvert over to the sub roof and keep an eye on those windows looking into Gym Bedroom. Maybe. I don't know if all 4 people coming in through con is going to be the ultimate play here for Rhythm. They've got a minute to sort things out. Leb's up on top, may rotate over towards the hatch. Just see the way that LFO have set up now, very defensive. Mims was sort of the front line. Leb is going to head over to this hatch. 40 seconds left in what is a very pivotal round.
Attackers have located
The
a
players
bomb.
for their team. They do have one on the window though, and no Bates
Oh God,
does
here we go.
find one in this round. This is where LFO need to step up, but this is going to be very difficult to execute to fight back against. Angmo though, he does find that pick. It's a 3-on-3, plant going down. Is the coverage there? That's the question. The answer is
Wait,
no.
no.
It's a
Boats-
C4
Attackers
from
have
Nate.
recovered their diffuser. 15 seconds
I
left.
was just wondering why Boats stopped looking into the bathroom. And at the very second that Boats left, all of his teammates had
5 seconds
perished.
to go.
1 versus 2, but no time. We'll, of course, go try and just stick this, but LFO can't lose it from
Operators,
here.
you're
They
out of time.
cannot. It's 4-5. And we've cycled on through here for the defense. They head back down the basement, you would think.
Yep. Well, we're not going to see bar, so basement it will be.
Hey, look, we've seen some funny things tonight, okay? I just
Yeah,
wanted to make sure I wasn't, like, saying it's 100%.
true. Nothing is 100%.
Exactly.
Except-
99.99.
Except Rhythm in this game, because I picked them. See, no.
Well,
rebuttal,
Rhythm's got
no
some work.
rebuttal.
Rhythm's got some work to do right now, though.
Yeah,
It's game on. It's really, thankfully, you know, in a night where we thought it was going to be a lot of close matches and a lot of fun siege, the one-sidedness is now evaporated, and we've got ourselves a game here. 2 teams looking to starve
Attackers
off
need to locate and defuse
relegations, at least for the time being, at minimum. Now that we head back down to Church and Arsenal, LFO, you know, they've won the last 3 rounds in a row, so they've got a bit of that in-game form. And we'll see whether or not Rhythm can sort of just get back into their own in-game form a little bit here and stop them. Otherwise, 5-5, and it's game on. And if anything, LFO then favored to probably continue to take this half, and then that would mean taking the entire match.
I mean, you look at the scoreboard and you think Rhythm have the upper hand here, but that's actually not really the case. There's only been one attacking round won in this matchup. Jim Bedroom in the first half, the third round. Unfortunately, Rhythm didn't capitalize in this second half. They are yet to win that attack. So there's really two scenarios that are most likely going to happen here. LFO win the remaining rounds in the half and they win the map. Or Rhythm will win a single attack and will go to overtime. Not sure what the starting size would be for overtime, but if you're on the attack, you're probably going to be in a little bit of trouble with OT.
Yeah, and if that does happen, I mean, the next time that we go to Gym Bedroom, it would be 6-5 to LFO. Provided, of course, LFO win these rounds. So, and going back to sort of one of the topics we were speaking about, pretty much at the switching of the first half, was what LFO sort of not needed to do, but so much more, what could they give up? And we both kind of agreed it was sort of like, well, it comes down to TCTV, it comes down to Gym Bedroom. In this case, you win this round and it's like job done on basement, job done there, then get the second job done on CCTV, and that puts you then in a position to actually win in Gym Bedroom. That's then your one lifeline that you could give up is the one that then would just send it to OT. So there's no real big ramifications there. So this has been a really big turnaround for LFO because they didn't give anything up in the first 2 rounds of this half. And you would expect them to win this round. And because of that, Rhythm's going to win it. We know it. It's been that sort of night of nights.
Well, we're halfway
Expect the unexpected.
Yeah, well, we're halfway through this round and nothing unexpected has happened really as of yet. In fact, not a whole lot has happened. This position inside of the blue generator is very well fortified here by LFO. So the likes of Bouncin and the rest of Rhythm, if they try and decide to push it, that would be quite the challenge. I'm probably expecting Rhythm to go for a more traditional take of kitchen, blow out the hatch and push that way, maybe even try and get some control over towards Moto as a couple of players get it up. And that will be the case at the moment. Pretty stock standard, but with a minute to go now, they need to think about how they're going to shape up for this attack.
Leb's low. Drax taking a bit of damage as well. And yeah, I mean, as you said, it looks like it's going to be that stock standard kitchen play, which is going to feed right into the hands of LFO. They'll be quite happy with the way this is looking. You know, Mim's going to watch this hatch and have a bit of backup. Now, this is where you need someone from Oil Pit, Blue sort of side, and it's exactly what Bouncin's going to be able to do here and find an early pick onto Nate. Now forced back up into Garage. 24 seconds left. Has to basically keep on the forefront. Has to keep the pressure on here. Die or win the trade. It's going to be losing the trade. Drax with a double kill. 4-2 advantage now for Rhythm in a big round here. And it's down to just Sogs remaining in a 1 versus 4. Rhythm are quite beat up in terms of health. No one's at full health. Sogs, though, is not going to win this fight. I said it. Did I not, Cars, at the start of this round that Rhythm would win? Expect the unexpected. Match point.
Yeah. Ooh. Again, though, there still is a significant chance that we still go to overtime, right? Because LFO now, they can go back to basement. If they win that 5-6, then they can go over to CC. If they win that 6-6 OT. So Rhythm still, of course, need to find another round that historically, at least within this match, probably wouldn't have been theirs. But, I mean, they did buck the trend in the last round, right? They won Church and Arsenal convincingly as well. Convincingly. I think it was, what, 4v1? In the end, we saw the likes of Bouncin pushing Blue. Despite maybe not having a big impact on the scoreboard, he only found the 1 pick, but he wasted a lot of time and a lot of the energy, I feel, of LFO, who maybe got a little bit caught off guard as the rest of the push came through.
Attackers need to locate
Good round there from Rhythm, but they need to back that up with another.
Well, it also means, at the very least, for Rhythm, that they won't have to face any sort of match point scenario where it could have been 6-5 to LFO had they just sort of kept on keeping on. That, at the very least, now means that OT a minimum for Rhythm. For LFO, basically season on the line now. Match point, but it kind of feels like season point.
10 seconds
You lose
left
any
before
round
insertion.
here, and you're done. There's no coming back. There's no
5 seconds
playoffs.
to go.
And questions then, I guess, are going to be asked, really,
Attackers are moving out to
of
locate
this
a bomb
roster.
and defuse it.
Hopefully they get rid of Enigma first. Kappa.
Oh,
Nah, just joking. Just joking. I love Enigma. He's pretty cool bloke.
I think Enigma would actually make a very good analyst, and more than happy to join us on the broadcast.
Yeah. He knows how to talk, which is always good.
Does
Because you
good
need to be able
attire.
to talk. Yeah, true. Although we don't wear suits on the broadcast, but maybe that'll have to change. I don't want to bury his grave too early. He's not gonna become a washed talent like us yet. I'm sure there's still hope in his career as a coach. Unlike Raven, who, yeah, we all know what happened there.
Can't coach, you cast.
Well, if you can't play, then you coach, then you cast. Because
Yeah, well, I was just making the shortened version.
No,
okay?
we got the long version. We got to rub it in, right? He's probably in
Still got
chat.
2 minutes. Still got 2 minutes in this round, so plenty of time apparently. Well, match point for Rhythm here on their attack. Go to Arsenal again. Do they just say, well, what we did last time worked? Let's just try that again. Bounce, it'll probably put the pressure on here from the east side.
Oh, King
Oh
2.0.
my! Pixel perfect onto Hills' head. That could very well be the match. It's 4-5 now in favor of Rhythm. It's not over just yet, of course. Very easy for LFO to find one back somewhere in the next minute and a half. But what a start to the round. Sogs is probably going to have to be the one to get something here, sitting in this cash position.
Well, we did see him get a 4K in the last occasion, but he had a bit more support on the roam. With only a minute to go now, he needs to make the decision. Does he stay? Does he try and rotate back? He
Oh,
makes the decision to rotate. Bounce and shuts him down. It's now a 3-on-5. Rhythm edging closer and closer to winning this map. And LFO edging closer and closer to ending their season on a low.
A big low. LFO will still have a chance. 2 more play days to try and avoid finishing dead last. Try and still find that win that they're looking for. But it doesn't seem like it's going to be here. It doesn't seem like they're going to win the battle of the bottom. Rhythm certainly have been the better team this season.
Bomb has been
From
located.
the matchups that we've seen in game, they've been performing well. They just haven't been able to execute down the stretch to find the win. They haven't been in a winning position for a long time. Back when they were Kangaroo 6 Masters, now is Rhythm for Oceanic Nationals, but they certainly are. They went through it from here. The Vanx is down, but 13 seconds left. Nate, Angmo, Mims would have to come up huge. 3 versus 4 now. In fact, Boats and Navax are both down. It's just Drex and Leb here, but they've come up clutch at the end. Drex and Leb is all you need, and Rhythm find that elusive win. They're on the board for Oceanic Nationals.
They did what I thought was the impossible. 2 attacking wins on Church Arsenal to close things out. 7-4. Wow, Rhythm, what a great performance from them. They shut down LFO when they could. They set the pace. They set their own momentum. And look at that result. Drex with 14 picks.
Ooh.
Oh, and I was right. And I was right. That's the best.
You were right.
Yeah, let's go.
That now means as well that 3 of us are tied on 12 points for the
And that could
snowball
change.
predictions.
That could still change after the next match. Wink,
Well,
wink.
it's going to change after the next match regardless, so that's going to be cool for us. But this is even better for Rhythm. 7-4. First win on the board for this particular season of Oceanic Nationals. And, man, hopefully you think that they're going to be delighted with that. Wasn't quite the 7-1, but it does mean we've now had 7-2, 7-3, 7-4. So 7-5 maybe coming up in our next matchup. Oh, it's great for Rhythm, but you've just got to feel that LFO. Where to from here, guys? Where to from here?
I mean, do we start? Are we allowed to say the R word yet? Relegations? Is it a little bit too soon to start talking about that? Because that is inevitably something that they're probably going to have to start preparing for. Some of the tier 2 teams rising up will be taking them on for their spot here in Oceanic Nationals. So, yeah, unless we have done a blunder in the math or some miracle happens or whatever, LFO will be staring down that barrel. And yeah, that's not a great position to be in because their confidence now will probably be at an all-time low, and they'll be looking to bounce back quickly in time for those relegations.
Just quickly before we go to the interview, I think at best, maybe, don't get me wrong here, but they would have to beat Elevate and then beat Ferox and hope Ferox doesn't lose at all. Sorry, doesn't win from here. So Ferox has to not win. LFO has to then beat Ferox. I think that's their only chance. So maybe they're actually not out of it just yet. Either way, let's go to our set of interviews, starting off with a happy one. It's Yoshi. It's a big, big win. Well done. Yeah, the boys. Congratulations, firstly, on your first win for Oceanic Nationals, mate.
Yeah, oh man, it's feels good. Feels good. You know, they gave us our only win last season. It was only fitting that they give us one this season. So, you know, yeah, it feels good.
Yeah, and that's actually perfectly leads into sort of what I want to talk about. It's been a long time between drinks for you guys, and as you mentioned, your last win was against them. That is way back at the very end of the last season of Six Masters. How does it feel to actually be in that position to close out a map? Because it's a term that sometimes gets flown around that teams find it difficult to win a map or close out a map. How did you guys feel in sort of the last few rounds there, where that pressure was rising a little bit?
I think it's still an area where we lack experience. As you could see, like, you know, we were on 5-1 for what, like 4 rounds. So, you know, 3-4 rounds. And, you know, the boys were starting to get a little bit antsy. But we managed to rein it back in. I think we had one round where, you know, it really kind of turned the tables for us. And then we just kind of turned up the last 2 rounds, you know, be easy. So,
big win, obviously, for you guys who are on the board. Obviously, playoffs might still be quite difficult, but you guys as a team this season, it's fair to say that your in-game performances have been absolutely far and away better than, say, it was under Kanga in Six Masters. This just feels like a bit of that reward.
Yeah, I think like we took a step back after last season and really kind of looked at our gameplay as a whole. And, you know, I think the boys have just really started backing themselves with confidence because they're all absolutely amazing players. Like, we go toe-to-toe with all the teams, but, you know, it's our confidence that lets us down when we get in the comp. So it's really good to see that kind of shining through now, all that hard work, you know. So
yep. I'm
looking forward to the next couple of games. It's going to be really interesting. You know, we've got a few things up our sleeves, so hopefully, you know, take home the next couple.
Well, hopefully so. You got obviously 2 tough matchups against Noble and Pittsburgh Knights. Wish you the best of luck there, though, and the best of luck for the rest of the season.
Cheers, gents. Have a good one.
Happy days, guys, on the board.
Ease, Yoshi.
Ease.
Was it really?
Ease.
Come on. Was it? I don't know.
Well, 7-4, I guess.
I mean, like I said, they did manage to.
At one point, it was
5-1. So yeah,
I mean,
taking the mickey a bit.
You did tip them, right? So I guess
yeah, because I knew they were going to win.
predictions.
Yeah, and I knew they were going to win. What was the scoreline in the end? I forgot.
7-4.
Spreadsheet load 7-4. Yeah, I knew they were going to win 7-4, right? So yeah. It was a closer match. I think, bring it back, it was a closer match, the end result, than what we were probably expecting off the back of the first, like, 4 or 5 rounds, right? It felt like Rhythm were just completely over the top of LFO. So I give LFO full credit to fighting it back the way that they did. It was in, I think they lost in a good fashion, if you understand what I mean.
Yeah. Well, we've got the wonderful coach for LFO, and I'll just say this firstly, Enigma, it's not, you're not out yet. You still got a path, very, very tiny, like, little alleyway towards the playoffs. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. You can still reach it, but boy, you guys have got a bit of work to do.
Yeah, like listening to what Guz literally just said about, you know, how do you say it, about, you know, with how we went out in a good fashion up against Rhythm. I don't think we did at all. I think we played horribly, to be honest with you. I think it's unacceptable how things went between, like, us and for what we prepared, because, you know, it was our choice to choose that decider map, you know, thanks to those map bans. So we were in that position to be able to do something, and just, I don't watch the video while they're live playing, right? I tend to just listen to comms, and now I'm watching back what happened, and I'm thinking, okay, there's clearly some sort of, you know, fundamental error that we just need to address nonetheless. And I mean, there's so many times I've said that already, but it still hasn't been addressed. So it's whether or not I have to, you know, fix something internally, bring in a sub instead. There's got to be something to get to that tunnel. You know? It's just the way it is. There's no more excuses, sort of thing.
Yeah, you're sort of half answering my question there, right? Because you've got 2 games left, you're staring down the barrel of playoffs. something needs to change. Like,
Exactly.
what are you spitballing in your head? Like, how do you actually approach these next 2 weeks and go, we need to completely do a 180 in a sense?
Well, the thing is, like, we're coming back. Like, it's not even 2 weeks. It's tomorrow. I mean, sorry, this Friday, right? And then, next Wednesday, right? So, I don't know. I have to really think about whether or not it's some sort of a roster switch, or whether or not, just players on different roles. I don't know. There's just something that I'm just gonna have to have a sit down with the analyst, me and him, and then we're just gonna have to go through it all together. There's nothing more to say, really.
I just want to ask you. You kind of touched on it a little bit in terms of the map decision there. I actually thought you guys might, in that situation, would have probably taken the Oregon, and yet you actually took the Clubhouse. Was that maybe a mistake?
Yeah. No. I don't think it was a mistake at all. I don't think it was a mistake. The mistake wasn't taking them to Clubhouse. The mistake was just us and the way we played on Clubhouse. From the very first round, it already set the tone. In the comms, what was being said, was, all right, we're going to go for a rush. It seems free. There was a bit of droning happening in Schmed and all that area. Yeah, it's free. There's just one person playing downstairs. Then when I look, I see two people there. Then the diffuser's being left outside, and people are coming down main stairs. If we're gonna say something, we got to stick to it. So I have no problems with the fact that we took him to Clubhouse. I have a problem with the fact that how we played on Clubhouse. It's not good enough. That's all I've really got to say for that. But it's still a learning curve nonetheless.
I definitely love and appreciate your honesty, and just from my own quick little calculations, essentially you guys have to beat Elevate, and then you've got to beat Ferox and hope that Rhythm and Ferox don't win again this season, and that's your pathway forward there, I guess, just to give you a bit of clarity there. So
we've got those scuff sort of things like last season, right? Like, I mean, if we had beaten Knights, or if we got in a better map differential, like we might have been fourth, and now here I am, like hoping that both Ferox and Rhythm both lose their games and we win our next games. Again, like, I don't like that. I'd rather just set it to be that we put ourselves there rather than having to rely on other teams to get there. But you know what? If it works, it works. I don't care. I'll take what I can get.
Yeah,
the way it is.
Definitely. Well, best of luck, I guess, in the remaining games, mate. It's certainly going to be intriguing to watch you guys finish off the season.
Fantastic. Thanks a lot for your time, guys. See you later.
See you, Matt.
Yeah.
Oh, gee whiz.
I felt like I just
got
got
the
schooled.
tension. Woo! Gee whiz, I need to change your shirt after that. He called me out on the first question, and I was trying to be a bit nice to them, and he's like, no. We played shit. Like, oh well.
I feel like we just got a scolding. I almost don't want to. I almost don't want to listen into the comms that he's going to give to his team, because I mean he was pretty blunt. They just weren't good enough. And look, I like the answer to the Oregon question. Should have they done Oregon? Like, it shouldn't have come down to that, right? Like, if they had gone Oregon, do they perform better? Maybe they win, but they shouldn't have gotten down 5-1 on Clubhouse. And as he said, a lot of the comm issues and stuff as well, and just spot on, absolutely spot on. And I think that's what you want from a coach as well. It's going to give you that honesty, not the pat on the back and good luck, let's try again. Like, if it's not good enough, it's not good enough. But
yeah, exactly. There's no point in doing that. There's no participation award for coming in the bottom two, right? You need to finish in the top 6 to not only save yourself from the relegations, but also to make the playoffs. So hopefully these changes, or if they do occur, actually do reflect in their gameplay, because they need something desperately.
Exactly right. Well, we are desperate for a close affair, and we might just have one on the other side of the break. It's the Battle of the Giants. It's Wildcard versus Pittsburgh Knights.
Attackers have been 15 seconds left.